Smart 24, driving business.
Well, be back from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barriga. I'm here with Masi Katsime. And definitely as we are driving you all the way out here. Now we're heading into our business insight. And well, as we had promised you, we've not been in position to actually get honorable due to various reasons. But definitely I believe when it comes through some other time, we shall be in position to actually proceed with these discussions efficiently as we continue. Now, still to remind you, the Market Traders Abo platform are back. Star 292 hash is simply the code to avail with options where you'll be able to buy bonds and securities for a fee of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the markets, as we speak right now, they're already on. They're already on, and that is the code to get you there and buy yourself bonds and securities. Now, the markets open at exactly 8:15, and they will be closing at exactly 3:15. PM, that is East African time. That is this is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays where these markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to make money, something which I believe is key for your financial growth as an individual. Zabo says my money, my future, and also East Africa tells you do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Well, Masi, we are talking about confidence in banks.
Well, of course, the confidence in banks is for some people. People like saving their money in banks, whereas others do not. And of course, given the fact that things are ongoing, actually, 2021, there was what is it called?
Cyber security, cyber attack.
Hacks within the bank, and they robbed us of $4 million.
$4 million.
So just imagine that. Imagine that scenario. Hey, so definitely people lost trust in such banks. Just imagine you're in a certain bank and they say they robbed. Would you be really secure? That means our systems are not encrypted enough to avoid these cyber attacks, whatever hacking. People no longer actually do these things of they come and point guns at you. People are into technology. People do fraud using technology. People hack using technology. Anytime you're going to check on your account, there is no money.
The war has gone way beyond, has been transitioned to technology.
Yeah, it's between wars, more powers when it comes to technology. So definitely, I think since then people have started having doubts about the banks, given the fact that there was this hack that happened in a certain bank in 2021, 2 years ago, yes. So definitely, I must say, if someone had an account in a certain bank, you would have a second thought to where I should really save my money. Should I put it in my car box home? I put it in my savings box. When the fire catches, it burns in there. Well, what should I do? But of course, I believe there needs to be security in the systems that are used in banking, so that we can have our money secured. Okay, to avoid such instances of theft.
Very interesting.
People having issues with their money. Not like if you see the cases of Silicon Bank and the likes. People scattered to remove their money.
Exactly.
The speed at which people hurry to remove the money. You realize how money is really important.
Very important. Definitely. And you see, on that note, it matters whom you really entrust this money at. And because I know these cybersecurity experts normally tell us to be very careful with the people we share with our bank accounts and all that.
Those are those people that know our, you know, what are the ATM, whatever.
So you find that, despite that, you know, we still have issues whereby somebody may not really even have to know your account, and somehow they can land into that due to various aspects they can do to you. You know, I was interacting with some of the cybersecurity experts and was saying that there is what they call the evil PDF, that somebody can send it to you on your mobile phone, and actually they're in position to access your mobile phone screen onto their screen. It just starts that. You simply open that PDF and they won't tell you. It will seem like it has nothing to it. Probably it has things within it which are to do with things you like when you open that PDF, but it's the evil PDF. So that means for the people that transact applications, transact your bank, exactly, use your application. So as you open up your application, you're seeing everything. The bank details, you're seeing everything.
Your balance.
It knows your balance, you know, and all that. So if he's to download the similar application, he can put into those records and, well, it might be the end of you. But of course, the banks are also becoming a little bit sensitive. If somebody else signs it into that application, it will actually fasten your notification and tell you that, you know, so and so a device here has been signing into this. Should we continue? Has been somebody's like, no, don't. I mean, with money, people are always, you know, so alert and, you know, so many ways. And I wish you could apply that, you know, that Albert principle, you know, even in some other factors of life. As a result of that, now there is a report here which was released and says that Ugandan banks vulnerable to hackers as losses top 15 billion Ugandan shillings. Now this is this was 2022, and somebody went ahead to say that the latest figures compiled by the Interpol Uganda show that hackers have become more lethal. That is that they became more lethal in the coronavirus lockdowns, which most transactions were actually digitized.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the hacking aspect, since that, it has taken a certain trend.
People had to
In our
devise
country,
means
Uganda.
of survival.
People have to survive, definitely. People are looking for ways of surviving. And, you know,
Yes. So if you have a skill, you had to use it to get money up and running in your account, maybe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You know, in most cases, if there is a crisis or things, that is when people become creative. Have you noticed?
That's when people become
more creative.
Creative, yeah.
Yes, more creative. For instance, now like COVID-19, people took advantage of this, and people are hacking into people's accounts and getting themselves.
They're making some good money for themselves.
Because now those days, I think people were, you know, much into, because banks need to put on a mask and sanitize. You were like, oh, I think let me just go to the nearest, you know, place and maybe get money or mobile money or something. So really, the banks weren't that much active.
And we've seen,
and they used to close at, was it 1 p.m. or 1? So it was a shorter time. So
shorter time.
Yeah, so definitely people were working their heads off to see that they vanquish they vanquish the money. But of course, I believe there has to be, I think our firewalls are not really strong enough to hold these hackers. So definitely we should have people who what do they call these people that are into IT and, you know, that help fix the systems and make sure they're not hacking.
We have cybersecurity experts. Those are
cybersecurity experts.
Yeah.
So, you know, technology is actually a thing these days. So you should have one person. People are using cyber things for their other things, relationships. I've seen people do those things. You people.
And actually, in the future, cybersecurity experts are going to be on huge demand. Cybersecurity.
Wow. Yes.
So if you're pursuing your studies in IT-related fields, it would be really high time that you know, you invest your knowledge and understanding cybersecurity. Of course, we saw a case which is out here in the papers. Still, Stanbic Bank speaks out on fraud. With people that accessed about 300.
But, I don't know now, Stanbic. It's usually Centenary. But
Centenary, we've seen Centenary Bank. So many banks, actually, almost.
There is no bank that hasn't been affected.
By, by the cybersecurity aspects here. 300 million. I know their accounts through unveiled, unverified SIM cards. This is something, very alarming. Trying to see that the confidence of the banks is increasing. But of course, despite that, as account holders, be very careful still. Like I say, you may put a very strong password to your protection, to your finances, but somebody can use, skip that, bypass that, and they decide to rob the entire bank. And robbing the entire bank, your funds are part of the money that probably some of the accounts that have lost money. So you see, that is quite very key. Now, getting back to our report here, as we've been taking a look as poor cybersecurity in Ugandan financial institutions has met them. Of course, this report is relating to what just happened with Stanbic Bank, saying that poor cybersecurity in Ugandan financial institutions has made them vulnerable. That is to international hackers, putting clients' finances at risk. Of course, officials came out and warned. Now, the cybersecurity is estimated to cost Ugandans over 15.5 billion. Ugandan shillings. That is a figure which has been rising yearly. Now, this is a report for 2022. Now, but financial institutions are not investing as much as to detect such incidents, which are rising by the year. Now, this is according to the Uganda Communications Commission in a report for last year. And of course, this came out, you remember there was a launch of Cyber Stars competition. That was last year, 2022, which brought together over 250 students from, of course, Ugandan universities. And the heroic training competition aimed to provide virtual space for students. That is to learn more about cybersecurity and develop skills in domains such as vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, digital forensics, and computer network defense. So you can really see how that by engaging students at an earlier age to develop with the cybersecurity skills, by the time they take some time off, that experience they get, we shall be having cybersecurity professionals, and in that sort of a way, people's finances will be safe in the different financial institutions. Remember, of course, banks are very critical to make sure that the business, because they protect the business fraternity's income, and this is the fraternity that is quite very dedicated and responsible to make sure that the economy of the nation really moves efficient, to make sure that actually everything runs as how they ought to. Now, was taking a look still in the report from the East African perspective here of hackers' scheme of $4 million of banks in Uganda. And now this is a 2021 report which says that Ugandan banks lost over $4 million to hackers in the past. That is in 2020. That is according to data released by the Interpol still on October 17th, 2021. Now, the Interpol director said that the theft was carried out via technology and involved bank fraud, fake visa issuance, and online businesses. I mean, there is nothing also which has affected people like those so-called online businesses. People have really lost money, and as a result of that. Now, of the $4 million reported, $3 million was recorded in just 10 cases of bank fraud, say the report. We've reviewed a report of 2022 as revealing how financial institutions in Uganda are more vulnerable to hacks, and they have not invested much in cybersecurity. And
of course, here on a report, I saw that the most active days for those hacks are on weekends and of course public holidays, when of course vulnerable days, because people work half days or the bank is not active, people are on holiday. So definitely that is when someone uses the chance. Because no one is tracking. Everyone is there in their home. At the end of the day, you find something is missing. So be vigilant. Weekends, public holidays. Wow, no one is in the bank. Public holidays, so people use that as an advantage. Okay, and of course, you have.
But despite the fact that no one is working in the bank, cybersecurity professionals don't have to be at the bank.
Yes, they do not have to be.
Because I can be still home, and I can know that if a hack is initiated onto the bank,
you can know an alert.
I can get an alert. So why should?
Well, what if you're out with your family and you
can have your firewalls which are automated. You can automate your firewalls to, in case there is an attack, they can revert.
Okay. That means we have to set our systems right.
Yeah.
I have always realized that the people that do this are insiders. I don't know, I have a feeling.
They are.
They're insiders.
A big number of them actually are insiders that actually come in to, hack these things, surprisingly. That's the funny thing about them. And, you see, they say, but you see, with hacking, it's not like physical robbery. Because with physical robbery, you might need an insider person. But technology things, they're more of exclusive. Somebody can still hack you without heading in there to be there. Now, of course, we've seen here the report from the East African perspective of $4 million reported, and $3 million was recorded in just 10 cases of bank fraud, say the report of 2021. Now, issuance of fake visas led to the loss of 542,500, while online businesses fraudsters siphoned about $112,000 users over the same period. However, traditional cybersecurity measures are being rendered ineffective as cyber attackers devise new and more dangerous ways to appeal for critical data. So there are traditional cybersecurity measures. Probably, maybe majority of our banks actually are still onto those traditional cybersecurity. And I mean, these are in almost every institution, organization. Probably you have the firewalls, which are normal cliche. I mean, why? But you gotta take it to a step further. Like when I talked about automated firewalls, that once they can detect something, they can you can program them in some sort of a way that they can revert the attack immediately. Now, cyber experts advise the banks that banks deploy real-time data and analytics, stronger firewalls in an evidence based on the ecosystem. Now, intelligence in cybersecurity involves staying a step ahead of the attackers, scouting for malicious leads and analyzing them. That is to better secure your data. Now the attacks come as snares, of course, in the form of file hashes, internet protocols, links. Like I was telling you of the evil PDFs, internet protocol links. There is zip files, execution files. There is applications, spear phishing. There is botnets, malware, ransomware, detected denial of service, and of course, advanced persistent rate. They make the cybersecurity space complex for many banks to really be a part. So you can really see why, maybe probably some of these banks don't even invest in that. But it's very critical in such a time when the economy, of course, as it's faring okay, with inflation kind of reducing, we shouldn't really again be faced by such an issue of banks losing money. Now, Ugandan banks will have to commit more money, that is to budget towards securing their system firewalls, and of course hiring experts in an era where ransomware is becoming a notorious way of bank theft. Yeah, so that's why they call it the crisis and the rising confidence of the banking sector in Uganda. How best would you trust to keep your money? Massive mentioned insurance company. Some actually say I would rather invest it in government bonds, which is fine, which is still good, depending on that, because it's still going to be making money. The most important thing is that you invest it somewhere and that money is actually also making money. Regardless of, it may not be a lot of profit, but at least it's producing something. It's not just idle. All right, it's exactly 23 minutes past 9. We coming closer to the end here. But still on top of that, I would still love to remind you that if you're scared, you can invest your money in government bonus securities, and Zabo is here to make that a reality with dialing *292#, which is the USSD code to avail with options where you'll be in position to buy government bonds and securities for a fee of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. So as I speak right now, the market's already opened and are going to be running all the way to 3:15 p.m. They opened at 8:15 and they'll be running up to 3:15 p.m. West African time. This is effective from today up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when the markets will be locked out and they won't be accessible. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money for yourself. Something which I believe is very key and instrumental when it comes to your financial growth and development as an individual. That's why Zabo says, my money, my future. And Double East Africa comes out here and tells you, do something new. It is 2023. And now let's get into the break. When we return, we shall be, of course, taking a look at the standard gauge railway line. Nations, of course, putting aside $6 billion to make sure that this is put into actual use. We're talking about matters of East African integration, and such a transport route is very vital for that. More of that coming up after the break.
Smart 24, driving business.